Hello, I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta. Welcome to ASEAN Today, your weekly look at the dynamic Southeast Asia region. Answers may now come in a maritime tragedy in Thailand. Recovery teams have raised a sunken boat that capsized, killing 47 tourists in July. The Phoenix went down off the resort island of Phuket. A recovery ship with a heavy lifting crane was brought from Singapore to raise the vessel from the seabed. Earlier attempts to refloat the vessel using tanks and air-filled balloons didn't work. Investigators will now examine the boat to find out what caused one of the country's worst ocean tragedies. The government is promising tougher regulations to ensure tourists' safety. The numbers are even more staggering than previously thought in the theft from a Singapore oil field. Court documents released on December 14th show that $150 million worth of oil was stolen from Shell's biggest global refinery over several years. This led to more than a dozen arrests, including several former employees of the local unit of Royal Dutch Shell. The documents state that 340,000 tons of oil were stolen from the company's Pulau Bukom site dating back to 2014. Charges filed in the first few months of investigations this past January indicated theft worth only $10 million. Police are still investigating the case. The first joint production between car makers in Malaysia and China was unveiled this month, and customers throughout Southeast Asia are expected to drive up sales. Malaysian automaker Proton rolled out its first unit co-produced model in Kuala Lumpur on December 12th. This new SUV is named the Proton X70, the first collaboration after Chinese car maker Geely bought nearly half of Proton and took control of its manufacturing operations last year. Malaysia hopes that the partnership will help revive Proton's financial health. Malaysia's Prime Minister was one of the founders of Proton.
And I'm quite sure in future we are going to see lots more designs and models which will make Malaysia proud.
Proton's chairman said at the launching ceremony that this partnership is expected to lead the company back to prosperity.
It may seem that our backs are against the wall, but we are working hard as we have all the ingredients in place. Geely, as our strategic partner, will provide the impetus needed to bring us to another level, not only here, but also to the ASEAN market.
It was also announced that the car will include free service calls for the first 5 visits. The price will be the same in all states, including Sabah and Sarawak. And the starting price for the new Proton X70 is 99,800 ringgit, or nearly $24,000. More ASEAN Today is coming up shortly. Bridging ASEAN's digital divide, that challenge ahead. You're watching ASEAN Today. I'm Raisa Chantami in Jakarta. One of ASEAN's goals is to deepen regional linkages and enhance its physical infrastructure, institution, and people-to-people relations. A master plan has been drawn up to create ASEAN Connectivity 2025.
We live in a digital world. Communications soar across borders with a swipe of a screen. Goods are sold in a global marketplace with the tap of a key. With the Master Plan on ASEAN Connectivity 2025, our goal is to improve the region's infrastructure to enhance the movement of people, goods and services. We aim to deepen regional linkages and enhance the region's physical infrastructure, institutions and people-to-people relations.
Singapore sees the great potential of e-commerce in ASEAN. A study that was done by Temasek and Google last year showed that it is actually growing on a 36% year-on-year growth. This will reach about $88 billion by 2025. To address this, SingPost have actually transformed itself from a national post to a global e-commerce logistics company. The ASEAN logistics network can be supported by a strong regulatory environment. This includes tariff-free trade policy to have goods that can freely flow across the logistics network within the ASEAN countries.
Bridging the digital divide in ASEAN is critical to the socio-economic development in the region. The master plan will help to bridge the digital divide in ASEAN by improving the region's connectivity. It will support the adoption of digital technology and digital solutions throughout ASEAN and create international opportunities for even the smallest business.
In Snapfit, we have collected consumer data in terms of who they are, how do they spend their money, where do they spend it, and when do they spend it. If this data is to be shared within the ASEAN region with proper governance policies, it could potentially transform the business landscape of ASEAN. This data is a powerful tool for businesses to know who the consumer are and to help businesses make better business decisions, not to rely on intuition, but on reliable consumer data.
Micro, small and medium-sized enterprises are crucial to ASEAN success. Through supporting the adoption of digital technologies and promoting a positive digital environment, the master plan will ensure these companies and the region's economies continue to benefit and grow. It will help to connect businesses to the resources they need, open up fresh, innovative digital avenues to trade and finance.
As we move into having the right policies, the programs and the incentives, putting in the payment gateway, tracking of the percentages of businesses to go online, it must be inclusive. The governments of all ASEAN member states must also penetrate to the rural areas. All member states need to be concerted in our effort as we integrate our SMEs to meet the demands of Industrial Revolution 4.0 so that they can contribute higher to the overall GDP of ASEAN.
Cultivating a culture of sharing best practices on open data is a priority in ASEAN. The Master Plan on ASEAN Connectivity 2025 supports ASEAN ICT Master Plan 2020 to achieve the objective of open data network. It will guide ASEAN member states towards improving the delivery of publicly available information and public services as part of the focus to empower and connect citizens and stakeholders. Some of the biggest beneficiaries are citizens and local firms, and the largest opportunities are in sectors such as education and transport. For example, parents and students can now make more informed decisions about choices of schools, while travelers can make better informed decisions about travel modes and routes. In this world of open data, it's equally important to ensure a safe and trusted digital environment in ASEAN. The Master Plan will enhance personal data protection and data management in ASEAN by identifying best practices, potential areas of improvement, and exploring opportunities to build a safe and trusted digital ecosystem in the region. The Master Plan on ASEAN Connectivity 2025, connecting ASEAN to a digital world of opportunities.
If accomplished, digital technologies in ASEAN could potentially be worth up to $625 billion by 2030. More ASEAN Today is coming up shortly. Singapore's transformation story from swamp to garden city. That's ahead. This is ASEAN Today, coming to you from Jakarta, home of the ASEAN Secretariat. The self-sacrifice spirit of a Filipino hero still inspires people today. ASEAN Today's Fauzul Azim has the story of an enduring symbol of freedom.
Jose Rizal was a Chinese Filipino doctor who devoted his life to the cause of the Philippines' independence. In the center of the capital Manila, there is a park commemorating the hero who was killed by authorities for his fight against colonial rule and the pursuit of freedom. Rizal was born in the Philippines in 1861. At a young age, Rizal decided to study medicine in order to treat his mother's eye disease and went to Spain, France, Germany, and other countries for further education. In 1885, a 24-year-old Rizal received his doctorate in medicine in Germany. As a witness to Spanish colonialism growing up, Rizal worried about the future of his country. During his academic studies in Europe, Rizal wrote a novel called Noli Me Tangere, Do Not Violate Me, that exposed drawbacks of colonial rule. After returning to the Philippines, Rizal was involved in the Philippine National Liberation Movement and was arrested by colonial authorities. On December 30, 1896, Rizal was executed.
Jose Rizal is considered to be the prime and foremost national hero of the Philippines because he inspired the emergence of the Filipino nation. Rizal's martyrdom ignited the revolution, thus he was considered the father of the nation.
His death ignited the anger of the Filipino people, with the idea of getting rid of colonial rule taking root in their hearts. Eventually, Rizal's spirit contributed to independence from Spain in 1898. The Rizal Memorial Park was built at the location where the hero was executed, a symbol of one man's sacrifice for the Philippine nation. Fauzul Azim for ASEAN Today.
Here are several events on the ASEAN calendar. The Bosang Umbrella and Sun Campaign Handicraft Festival will be held from January 18th to the 20th in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Colorful culture will be on display during Singapore Art Week 2019 from January 19th to the 27th. And the Dinagyang Festival is set for January 25th to the 27th in Iloilo City in the Philippines. One of ASEAN's leading economies has made a stunning transformation from swamp to shining city by the bay. ASEAN Today's Wendy Widiantini reports on how Singapore went green.
Singapore's rise from an underdeveloped landscape with no natural resources to one of the most livable cities in the world is truly a case to be studied for city planners in all parts of the world. The island country is home to one of the most densely populated cities in the world, known for its world-class infrastructure and skyscrapers. It's also recognized as one of the greenest cities in the world, but its reputation did not grow overnight. The city-state proudly boasts 350 parks and gardens with a 313 kilometers green belt that connects them. The idea is the residents can work and live in a city in a garden. These master plans are overseen by the National Parks Board, a statutory board of the government responsible for providing and enhancing the greenery of Singapore.
We introduced a concept of linear parks or linear green belt. To connect all these small and big parks together, it become a web, become a network. So that everybody actually from one park to another park, for their residential area to working area, you are walking along a green belt. And that is the thing that make people feel that every moment what they are doing in a garden.
With land shortage being one of the biggest challenges, Singapore has gone from planting trees on the ground to in the sky. Having already crossed 100 hectares of vertical gardens and sky-rise greening, the government aims to double that by 2030.
The private sector actually has got a big part to play because most of the developments that you see in the private sector are also by developers. And I think there are now government legislations about greening of buildings for new developments as well. I think that has lent to a great extent to actually how architects design buildings and add greenery to these developments as well.
Due to global warming, natural cooling has been an important focus area. Using innovations and technology, Singapore has been working on improving the structure of the buildings to ensure increased wind flow. Newer buildings are also being designed to allow better ventilations and more natural lighting. Over the next decade, officials say there will be other increasingly elaborate and ambitious projects that will help shape Singapore's landscape. Wendy Widiantini for ASEAN Today.
We like hearing from you throughout the ASEAN region and the world. All of our episodes are posted on YouTube, so check us out there if you can't find us on your local TV channel. Then let us know what you're thinking about or what you want to see on the program. email us at aseantodaytv@gmail.com, post something on our Facebook page, or tweet us at ASEANTodayTV. Some of the world's best golfers teed off in Jakarta at the 2018 Indonesian Masters. The tournament at the Royal Jakarta Golf Club from December 13th to the 16th featured 144 professionals from 30 countries, including world number 2 Justin Rose of England and Asian number 1 Shubhankar Sharma of India. But when the final shot was played, it was Thailand's Pum Saksansin who walked off with the winner's trophy with a 20 under par 268. It was his second win at this tournament in 3 years. And in Thailand, the new Miss Universe was crowned on December 17th. She is Catriona Gray of the Philippines. The 24-year-old woman is from Albay and beat out 91 other countries to win the title. Gray is the 4th Miss Philippines to win the beauty contest.
As Miss Universe.
And that's ASEAN Today for this week. I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel in Jakarta. Terima kasih. Please join us again next time.